What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the TB Toycast YouTube channel. And today we are unboxing, yes, you see that right. It is Star Trek The Next Generation, Captain Picard. I'm unboxing Star Trek. You know, who would have guessed that? I know Steve Hoker's over there just shaking his head like, you got to be kidding me. But here we are. It's interesting. So how did this happen? Let's dive into it. Watching the Toys That Made Us, I watched how they talked about how good Playmates did with these figures, and honestly, I started looking at them like they're right. They're really good figures. Never been a Star Trek guy, but Nacelle recently announced, who actually did the Toys That Made Us, if you're keeping score at home, a new Star Trek line that they're doing. The first wave is like 8 figures. The second wave is going to be 10 figures, so they're really pumping them out. The quality of them looks incredible, and they're very, very modern scale, multiple heads, hands, accessories, all that good stuff, and from all different facets of Star Trek. So almost kind of like if you were, a DC Multiverse or a Marvel Legends, where it's all kind of grouped into one. I thought it was really cool. But again, those are like $28.99 to $33, a little bit different in price, definitely expensive. And I was like, ooh, I don't know. I saw this at a resale shop. Guy had a whole bunch of them. He's like, yeah, any of those you want $10 a piece. I'm like, you know what? Give me Captain Picard. You know what? Give me Worf. And I picked up a few since then. We're gonna see what they're like. Of course, multiple Star Trek waves. I'm right now trying to stick with the Next Generation just to see what I think of these and kind of go from there. Of course, Star Trek: The Next Generation, Space of Final Frontier. Really cool card art, especially for the 90s. We got Captain Picard. We got a multitude of accessories there. Captain Jean-Luc Picard, commander of the Starship Enterprise, bonus Starfleet action base, Type 1 hand phaser, a tricorder, personal view screen, pad, captain's log, adventure booklet, very, very cool stuff. Attention collectors to each figure individually numbered. Oh, there you go. So if you're a collector, it's kind of a fun thing. Although I do feel like they talked about this on the Toys That Made Us. They were trying to appease collectors and kids all at the same time, which is not the easiest thing to do, but I feel like they did a good job here. Ages 4 and up there. Of course, we got a cutout bio card. I'm always a sucker for that. And I think this is really cool. They kind of label all the different accessories that he comes with. Of course, a really good roster there for Wave 1. Of course, we got Captain Picard. I've also picked up Lieutenant Worf. And I actually got Goron the Klingon on the way from eBay. I'm going to start with these 10 and kind of go from there. Again, not super expensive. If you're a Star Trek person, again, not the biggest Star Trek fan, but if you're a Star Trek person, these might be fun to pick up, and a little bit on the cheaper side as far as price points. And honestly, like I said, I don't know a lot about the characters or the actors too much, but they look really, really good. Like if we go and look, that's totally Patrick Stewart. I mean, for a Playmates figure, they really captured his likeness very, very well. So the cutout bio card here. Let's see, subject Jean-Luc Picard. Species is human, born in La Barre, France, Earth. He's a Starfleet captain, USS Enterprise, NCC 1701D. Previous vessel is the USS Stargazer. Cardiac replacement surgery is his medical history. His physical condition is excellent. Profile Picard, Jean-Luc, captain of the USS Enterprise, NCC 1701D. A born explorer of French descent, honorable, loyal, stern, yet receptive, commands absolute authority. Persuasive negotiator, most respected captain in Starfleet. Too valuable to leave the Enterprise for extended periods, must limit participation on away teams to emergencies and diplomatic situations only. Dislikes the use of force unless absolutely necessary. Excellent swordsman, skilled in Type 1 hand phaser, and several forms of self-defense. Distrusts the Fernagi. Is that how you say it? Fernagi? I don't know. Ranks the Borg as his most dangerous adversary. Borg, another figure right there. What I want to pick up. Really cool looking. Distinguished Service Notation, Stargate 43345.94. Captain Jean-Luc Picard successfully managed to save Counselor Troy from her captor, Armus. Picard orders ship phasers to destroy Armus' only way off planet, neutralizing his escape. So a lot of information of these, of course, came out in 1992. So he's got a pad for recording all of the captain's personal notes and actions. Personal view screen, an audio and visual communications device. Like that's like a laptop almost. Like this, again, their stuff's way ahead of their time. Starfleet action base, stand him up or plug him to his base. Picard always ready for action. So cool. I got a physical stand there. Tricorder with holster for monitoring life forms and taking sensory readings. Captain's log adventure booklet as well. So a lot of cool stuff. You hate opening up a vintage figure, but it's got to be done, right? It's got to be done. We're opening them up, seeing what it's all about. Bad thing is when you open these up, there's no going back. It's done. The thing is done. But again, not super expensive. So if this is something you're into, like I said, I feel like I've talked to me and Steve Hoker covered Star Trek on the podcast actually. Travis had taken a bit of a sabbatical. This is a couple of years ago, as a matter of fact, and this is not wanting to open at all. I just have to tear into it, I guess. I got scissors right here. What am I doing? That's what the scissors are for, man. There we go. Cut that bad boy. Captain's log has been removed. But me and Steve Hoker were talking about Star Trek, and what we, I think, kind of realized is that we're all nerds to some degree. That's pretty cool. Lots of information there about Captain Picard and maybe just a lot of different things. So, it's kind of, not a mini comic, but maybe it's a way to learn a little bit more about the characters. But me and Steve Hoker were talking about the different, about the Star Wars figures, and just like we were trying to be like, well, yeah, these are really cool, but we don't know anything about them, and trying to our best to make that work. But I think the thing is, like, there are nerds. Like, we're into wrestling, I'm into comics and all that stuff. But there's different levels of nerdom. And is that the right word, nerdom? And and I think Star Trek is definitely its own brand. Not a bad thing at all. It's just definitely its own thing. Pretty nice articulation here. Arms move side to side. I like that. Elbows. Got neck articulation. So again, not a huge figure. Probably 4 inches. They talked about it being individually numbered. They were not wrong. 15,932. So if you're keeping score at home, got that one. And that is in my collection now. So very, very cool. We got a nice little holster. I assume, I don't know if this pops out or not. It does not look like it. I would assume this is for his phaser, but I can't imagine you want this whole thing going down in there. So maybe that's for his communicator. I would say that's probably for his communicator. So I think New Age toys, yeah. I assume. We'll see. I would assume New Age toys, you'd have like a phaser with without the, big thing coming off of it. But again, it's an old toy. It's a 90s toy. These coming out in 92 though. This is like right around the time of the X-Men and a lot of the stuff from Toy Biz. So it's definitely right up in there as far as quality and stuff. Well, maybe that's not going to fit in that hand very well. Yeah, it doesn't fit in the hands very well, but, and I'll keep dropping it. That's what I do. But, it's all right. Still a cool figure. Still a fun figure. Yeah, this is fun audio. Me trying to get something in his hand. Got to look at his stand here. Very, very cool. Has his name on it. Got a nice peg there for his foot. And that will stand him up perfectly. I don't know if the thing should go the other way or not, but definitely cool. Let's see if he stands up on his own. It stands up pretty decently, I think. Does have some knee articulation. I did notice some of the other figures didn't have knee articulation. So your mileage may vary there a little bit as far as how they go. Me personally, I like the knee articulation, but I want as much articulation as I can get. So again, probably all relative to how you collect. So we got a pretty decent amount of accessories here. And we got a stand. See if we can stand that up right there behind him. Picard. Very, very cool. What do you guys think? I think this is pretty fun. I think it's a cool figure. Now, this may not be for everybody, but getting a Star Trek collection in is definitely kind of a fun thing for me. It's different. It's unique. And like I said, I would like to get all of Next Generation Series 1 and kind of see where I want to go from there. Like I said, they're not super expensive. And, you can get them on eBay. A lot of resale shops have these. Like I said, the guy, I was picking up a couple of figures, and he's like, "Oh, I've got boxes of Next Generation if you want some." I'm like, "Oh yeah, let me see them." And he kind of showed everything to me, and I'm like, "Oh wow, okay, yeah, give me Picard, give me Worf," And so I ended up picking up I think 4 that day. So a couple others that will be kind of later on because they're I think from like Wave 2 or beyond even. So, but again, time will tell. I'm struggling getting this thing in his hand. There we go. Will he hold it that way? Let's see. They could throw him off balance a little bit. Again, not the biggest figure in the world, but I think it's all right. We can kind of compare it to my trusty Bobby the Brain Heenan Epic Toys Retro. About the same size. Of course, definitely a lot more of a skinny figure, but not bad. But I think it's pretty cool. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below if you're a Star Trek fan. If you came to this video and found it because you're a massive Star Trek fan and I completely insulted your intelligence, I do apologize. Don't shred me in the comments if you would. I'd appreciate it. But again, I'm learning. I have started watching Star Trek. Now, with Star Trek having such a massive catalog of content, it's kind of hard to know where to start. So I started with the original 1966 series. I've only watched about 2 episodes so far, but I have been watching it. And I actually really enjoy it. And I remember thinking, oh, the 66 series will be, that's like Batman, it'll be all campy. And it is a little bit, but I do enjoy it. And I want to try to go through all the seasons. And it's going to take me a while, obviously, with so many different series and movies and everything else. But we'll see if we can get there. But Captain Picard, definitely a cool figure. And definitely a fun addition to the line. Of course, check out my other unboxing videos. I'm doing 3 every single week. On Monday, I went to the World of McFarlane with Super Friends and Sinestro. Such a good figure. So happy to have that in the collection. On Wednesday, I went to the World of Ring Rats and Wrestling Tycoon with the new Ring Rats, Macho King Randy Savage. These things are absolutely so much fun. Hit up Dave over there at Wrestling Tycoon. Let him know you saw the video and then you want some ring rats because they are worth it. Let me tell you, they are really, really fun. Of course, today was Captain Picard for Friday. Of course, last week was a bunch of really cool videos. On Monday, I unboxed Leonardo from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Page Punchers line from McFarlane. Definitely a fun one there. On Wednesday, I unboxed the British Bulldog from the new, not the new, but the Retro Mattel line from, well, Mattel. I haven't unboxed that one yet, so that was cool to dive into. And then on Friday, I went back to the World of Marvel Legends with the Marvel Legends Dracula. What a cool figure that was, and a fun addition to my Marvel Legends collection. But it's always kind of cool to dive into something vintage and something retro like Captain Picard here from Star Trek from Playmates. Definitely fun stuff. Also, check out the TB Toycast podcast, wherever you get your podcast, as well as the What's on the Peg show right here on YouTube. And then once a month, I'm doing Tales of the Toy Box. Check that out as well. Maybe I'll have to do Star Trek on a future episode. That might be kind of fun. So look for that as well. That's it. That's all I got. Thank you all very much for checking out the TB Toycast YouTube channel. That is Captain Picard from Star Trek The Next Generation. And we will see you in the toy aisle.
Yeah. One more time. It ain't over till I say it's over. So lock the cage up, cause this is a takeover. The wait's over. If this the final time we meet, then you'll be on your back on my feet. Then I'll tip the cage over as a hangover. I'm super fly so I can splash off the top. And I can shut down the shot.